That winter, our cabin getaway turned into a night of footsteps in the dark and a visitor who wanted more than a place to stay. My two closest friends, Alex and Jamie, decided to skip the usual family Christmas a few years back. We rented a remote lodge instead. All of us in our 20s, tired from work, just wanted a quiet few days of doing absolutely nothing. The place was an hour from the nearest town, nestled deep in the pine woods. You could barely see the other properties through the trees. We arrived on Christmas Eve, loaded with snacks and drinks. We played games and talked until the early hours. It felt perfect. I collapsed into my bed, exhausted, the old timber groaning in the freezing cold. I don't know what time it was when I woke. Pitch black. Something had pulled me from sleep. The sound of careful, quiet steps in the main living area. Someone was moving around out there. I lay still, thinking it was one of the guys. But the footsteps didn't head to the bathroom or the kitchen. They just paced. A slow, deliberate creaking near the front door. Eventually, they stopped. I told myself it was the old building settling and fell back asleep. In the morning, with sunlight streaming in, I joked about who'd been sneaking around at 4 a.m. Both of my friends looked at me, completely blank. They hadn't gotten up, not once. I laughed it off until my eyes drifted to the front door. Every lock was turned open, the deadbolt, the handle, everything. We were certain we'd locked it. The mood in the room dropped. We made excuses about the wind or a faulty latch. We wanted so badly to believe it was nothing, and we let it go. The day was good. We swapped cheap gifts, called our families. But as night fell again, a cold dread settled in my stomach. We were playing games in the living room, and I kept glancing at the window. The blackness outside felt dense, like a wall. We went to bed earlier that second night. I lay awake, staring at the uncurtained window beside my bed. Then, I heard it again. The soft footsteps. This time, I knew it wasn't my friends. I listened, and there was no mistaking it. The rhythm was human. I got up, my heart hammering. As I moved to my door, the footsteps left the living room and entered the hallway. They passed right by my door and stopped nearby. I held my breath. I cracked the door open, just a sliver. A man stood in the hall. He was enormous, with wild hair and a beard. He was just standing there, facing my friend's bedroom door, completely motionless. I pulled back, leaving the door barely open. I was frozen. What was the right move? 20 seconds later, I heard a soft creak. Before I could react, my door was shoved inward. The man filled the doorway, his eyes wide and utterly empty. I screamed. Alex and Jamie came running. Jamie tried to tackle him, but the man threw him against the wall like he weighed nothing. Then, he just ran. Straight out the front door and into the woods. We barricaded ourselves, called the police, and waited with kitchen knives and a fire poker. He never came back. We got no answers. The police spoke to the cabin owner. Our best guess? Maybe he was looking for the owner and didn't expect renters. Or maybe he saw there were 3 of us and chose to run. We'll never know. We were just lucky it didn't turn into a fight we couldn't win. A different Christmas, a different road. My partner Lena and I were driving 11 hours to see her family on Christmas Eve. The trip started quiet, the highways almost empty. I pulled off at a lonely gas station to fill up. The lot was buried in snow, not a single other car. Lena waited in the warm car as I ran inside. The place was silent. Lights on, but no one at the register. I called out. Nothing. It felt abandoned. I put the drinks back and hurried out. That's when I saw him, a man in a heavy winter coat, knocking on Lena's window, trying to get her to roll it down. As soon as he saw me, he backed away and walked quickly down the road. Lena was shaken. He'd appeared right after I went inside and just kept knocking, saying nothing else. We drove off immediately, unnerved. The detour to a new gas station and the worsening snow put us hours behind. By midnight, we were exhausted and still 4 hours out. We decided to stop at a roadside motel. The clerk was there when we checked in. We crashed into our room, dead to the world. I set an early alarm so we could get back on the road before dawn. When the alarm went off, I packed the car in the bitter, windy cold. The motel lot was still empty. I went to the office to check out. The clerk was gone. Papers were scattered on the floor behind the desk. That bad feeling from the gas station flooded back. I ran to our room, got Lena, and we sped out of the lot. As I pulled onto the highway, my headlights swept the side of the building. I saw him. The same man, in the same coat, just standing there. We called 911 and met officers at the next gas station. They listened, then one officer knelt by our car. He found a magnetic GPS tracker stuck to the wheel well. It all clicked. The officer said it was nearly impossible to follow someone that closely without being seen. The tracker explained it. The police went to the gas station and motel. Both workers were missing. The man must have been involved. My theory? He'd done something to the gas station clerk before we arrived. When I walked in, maybe he thought I'd seen evidence. So he followed us, to silence us too. They never found him. The last image was a blurry figure on a security tape. We spent our Christmas morning in a police station, knowing how easily we could have been added to that list of the missing. One year, I spent Christmas completely alone in my small house. A blizzard was forecasted for the evening, but the day was calm and beautiful. I went for a walk through the snowy, decorated neighborhood. It was peaceful. By 5 p.m., the storm hit with a fury. The wind howled, shaking the windows. I was cozy inside with movies and food, feeling secure. Then, around 9, I heard it. A single firm knock on my front door. I froze. No one should be out there. I muted the TV. 3 more knocks came. I crept to the door, but didn't look out. I just waited. The knocking stopped. I started to relax, thinking they'd gone away. Then I heard a new sound. A dragging, scraping noise through the snow. It moved from the front of the house, around the side, and stopped at my back door. My back door was mostly glass. I dared a glance around the corner. A man's face was pressed against the dark pane, his eyes staring directly into my house, right at me. I jerked back and called 911, whispering my address to the operator. I stood paralyzed in my living room. Then, a loud scraping, followed by a horrific crash. He'd broken through the back door. Wind and snow exploded into my home. I dove behind the couch. For 5 agonizing minutes, I heard nothing over the storm. Was he inside? Was he looking for me? I couldn't tell. Then, blessed knocking at the front door and a voice shouting police. I sprinted to let them in. The man was gone. His wet footprints led from the shattered door through my kitchen and then back out into the blizzard-covered field. The officer said these storms sometimes attract people looking for empty houses. They test doors. By not answering the front, but then letting him see me at the back, I told him I was home, and I was alone. He'd come in to see what he could take, or worse, and fled when he heard the sirens. I'd made every wrong choice that night. I was just lucky his goal wasn't solely to find me. If these stories got under your skin, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. It helps the channel Winds of Thought more than you know. Thank you for listening. Stay safe out there.